Hello YouTubers, Rogue Monkey Jr. here for another episode of Bare Bones Monday. The gun requested in today's episode is the M39 EMR, and it is by A Perfect Cookie. So getting right off to it, the M39 EMR is actually a modernized version of the M14 marksman rifle, which is designed in the United States of America. Stock, the gun actually kind of looks like the M1 Garand, I find. It looks pretty cool stock, like with no color on it or whatever. But anyways, let's move right on to the statistics of the gun. It has a maximum damage of 45, like pretty much all the other DMRs, and a minimum damage of 38. Drop-off starts at 50 meters and ends at 80 meters. So this means that you're going to be able to kill your enemy in 2 shots if you manage to pull off a headshot at pretty much any distance you engage at. It has a fire rate of 300 rounds per minute, which is pretty average fire rate for the DMR class of weapons. It has a pretty decent magazine size of 21. So, like, seeing as you can kill in 2 or 3 shots at any distance, you might not need to reload that often. And if you do need to reload, it's going to take you 2.25 seconds for the short reload and 3.4 seconds for the long reload, which is quite a bit of time. It has a recoil up of 1.2, a recoil of left of 0.2, and right of 0.2, and it has a first shot multiplier of 1. Seeing as you are always shooting a first shot with the DMR, because it is a single shot gun, you're always going to feel that recoil up. So if you spam fire it, you're going to lose control of that gun pretty fast, and your shots are going to start missing a lot more than if you took a little bit more time between your shots but were being more accurate. The gun stock's actually not that bad. It just has a really big housing and it blocks off a lot of your screen, as most iron sights do in Battlefield, just because the way that they're rendered. It doesn't like focus out the side of your gun to focus to see what's in front of you. It actually, you can see the whole housing of the gun. So as soon as you would get a sight for this gun, I would suggest putting it on, because seeing as you're probably going to use it at longer ranges, you're going to have a lot more of a hard time to see your targets. So moving on to the attachment part of the video for the M39 EMR, as I was playing in closer quarter maps, I put a red dot sight on here, the Coyote, but if I would have played in longer range maps like Rush or something, I would probably put it 4 times on, just to have that more accurate shot and better sight on the enemies that are in a distance. For the accessory, I put the target detector. I find this is very useful, especially when we're playing in maps with a lot of foliage and you can't really see the enemy. This thing's going to spot them for you. For the barrel, nothing. I just find it hurts your accuracy more than anything. Sometimes I might put a suppressor on here if I'm trying to play sneaky, but other than that, I don't put anything. And for the underbarrel, just the folding grip or angled grip, because since you're always getting that first shot recoil, it would be helpful to reduce it by 33%. Finishing up the video on some Siege of Shanghai domination gameplay, where using this gun isn't really the best idea. I was trying to look for some rushers to get kind of like that distance to engage my targets from a further away, to be able to like get those shots on my target without completely getting destroyed. Because let's face it, in domination, the AEKs, the Ace-23, the FAMAS, and the shotguns are king in this type of game mode, and I just couldn't for the life of myself find a game mode which really suited the DMR. So I just said fuck it and went to play some close quarter combat. I was doing okay with it, but by no means was I doing great with it. Had I have had like the AEK, I would have just been tearing it up in domination, no problem. But playing with the DMR, man, you gotta be really tactical about what you do, and you gotta stay back, and that's not really my playstyle. I was always being too aggressive for the type of weapon that I had, and that's really the drawback of the DMR. It's not an adaptable weapon. Something else that I really miss is that in Battlefield 3, the DMR was a recon-only weapon, and the PDWs were actually the all-class weapons. And I found this much more useful, seeing as, let's say I'm a medic and I want to use, like, I would use the PDWs, because when you're a medic, you're in the action, you're right in the enemy's face, and PDWs make sense because they're really high rate of fire weapons and they do a lot of damage at close range. But now it's the DMR weapon that's all around, DMR class weapons that's all around, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I understand why they did it, because engineers are most often in tanks, and PDWs make sense because they're smaller and they can be maneuvered. But yeah, that's about it for today's video. Thank you very much for the gun request. If you would like to request your own weapon for the next video, please do so in the comments down below or send me a Facebook or Twitter message. Also, let me know how you guys like to run the M39 EMR, or if you like it all together. As always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share to my channels for more videos like this. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.